all my life, I wanted to live in Florida. I wanted to live on the beach, somewhere amazing, and I made it happen.
Wow. It's Rebecca. And today,
Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca Huson.
and I'm Shelley Gruen.
And today I am very excited. I am talking to Rebecca Huson, and she is a realtor in Boca Raton. Rebecca, welcome.
Hi Allison, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. It's nice to meet you finally.
Well, I am really glad that you were able to talk to me because obviously you're in Florida, and I don't know when people are going to be watching this video, but right now you are kind of on the outskirts of the hurricane. And so I'm very glad you made it here today.
Yes, it's actually my first hurricane experience. The first year I was here, we had a lot of high winds and some pretty tough weather, but this is a real experience. But so far, so good.
Yeah. So you have power, and presumably it's a bit windy and a bit rainy.
Yes, just very windy and rainy. Otherwise, it's just business as usual.
Yeah. And well, I know that it's going up the East Coast, and sorry, no, the West Coast, and you're on the East Coast. But
Yes.
friends who are in the Tampa area, which is supposed to be hardest hit, they're all just kind of sheltering in place. And that seems to be what Floridians do in hurricanes.
Yeah, and there's so many programs and places set up for people to come and stay if they're concerned or worried. So it's scary and dangerous, but there's a lot of places to go and resources. So everyone is going to be fine.
Well, good. That's good to know. I think any state that you live in, you know, if you're in the Midwest, there's tornadoes. If you're in California, there's earthquakes, winter storms in the Northeast, and people just get used to whatever extreme weather they have, and they just kind of roll with it. And the good thing about hurricanes is you get, you know, days and days warning, so you can stockpile things and you can prep. So
Yeah, it's been interesting listening to what my friends are doing to prep. So it's fun.
well, good. Well, I'm glad you're safe. Well, before we start talking about your incredibly beautiful area, you are not from Boca Raton, are you? You're from Michigan.
I am from Michigan. I was born and raised in Michigan and lived there all my life. But all my life, I wanted to live in Florida. I wanted to live on the beach, somewhere amazing. And I made it happen.
Wow. And so just in case there's someone watching this who wants to know just a little bit about Michigan, what did you love about Michigan, and then what made you move to Florida?
So I live near Lake Michigan, which is a huge lake, and a lot of people don't even know about it. It almost reminds you of the ocean. You can't see to the other side, and you can do all the water sports up there. You can swim. It's not always very warm, so your best luck at swimming in the lakes in Michigan is in August, July and August. But it's a beautiful place. There's a lot of room for growth. There's Upper Michigan and Lower Michigan, and they both have a different feel, a different vibe. So there really is something for everyone up in Michigan.
But what there isn't is beautiful beaches and beautiful weather. So that's presumably why you moved to Florida.
That is why I came here, for the sun and the sand.
So for those people who don't know where Boca Raton is, where are you located in Florida?
So we are in Southeast Florida. We're about an hour north of Miami and about 30 minutes south of Palm Beach, right on the water.
Beautiful. And so if someone is looking to move to your area, do you just cover Boca Raton, or do you cover kind of the outskirts as well?
Yeah, so it's a little bit more difficult here than it was in Michigan. You could travel 30 minutes and it could take a good hour to get there because sometimes the traffic can be a little bit rough. So you have to know when you're going to be traveling. But I would definitely travel down to Miami. And I have gone an hour north to Port St. Lucie. There's a lot of opportunity there as well. So I will travel for the right home.
Okay, well, perfect. So So what is your average price point? Because as soon as you say Miami, you know, within an hour of Miami, that immediately says it's quite an expensive area. Do you know what your average price point is?
Yeah, so yesterday I looked up the average price in Boca Raton, and I think a lot of the numbers are skewed because some of the higher priced homes mess all the numbers up. So yesterday the average price was 2 million.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I don't like saying that, but I help people like around 700,000, 800,000. We can find homes for that. I did just sell one close by in Coral Springs for 520,000. Very nice ranch home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool. So there is plenty of opportunity here, but no good deals anymore. Not right now.
Yeah, and that's good to know, because there are plenty of affordable states out there. If you have a smaller budget, you can go on the YouTube channel and you can look at plenty of other states where they do have an average price of around about 150 to 200,000. But
Ooh, that
you know,
would be nice.
you are in an expensive market, and there's a reason, because where you live is absolutely stunning. Miami is my favorite city in the whole US.
Aw.
I absolutely love it. And that whole area is beautiful for anyone who's never been there. So describe. So you've got beautiful beaches. So what kind of beaches? They're white sand and warm ocean and palm trees and all of that.
Okay, so we definitely have palm trees. We don't have the white sand that the west coast of Florida has, but we still have beautiful sand. I go to the beach every day. I live right across the street. So I go to the beach every day and walk. You'll see some of the same people out there every day. There are just beautiful homes on the water. So I swear every day I go out there, I see something new. And I go out there, I've been going out there for 2 years now. So always something new. The water is always warm. I've never experienced cold water here. And it does get warm. So if you're going to be sitting out on the beach, you'll want to bring an umbrella and some water.
Mm-hmm. And so while we're talking about the heat, so summers do get hot and they do get humid as well.
They do get hot, but it's like you get used to it. And if you're close to the water, there's always a breeze. So, you know, some days I'll walk outside and say, wow, it just feels really hot. But then you just go back inside until it cools off a little bit, and then you can go out and do what you normally do. So, but you just get used to it. But you will also find in the winter months, it feels cold. It'll be in the low 80s and upper 70s, and you will feel cold, and you will wonder what is wrong with you, because you should not be feeling cold, but it is a thing. So you will still get to wear your sweatshirts and sweatpants if that's what you like.
Well, I mean, for me, obviously, I grew up in England, and I always would have said I hated the hot weather and I didn't like humidity. But after 2.5 years in Tampa, when we moved back to Georgia, I was cold and I hated it. And I got so used to being in Florida, and I loved everything about it. And yes, you know, the 3 months of summer is hot and is humid, but wherever you live, 3 months of the year are going to suck. And I'd rather have 3 months of hot, humid weather in summer that, you know, it's not particularly pleasant to go out in the midday, rather than 3 months in winter where I'm shoveling 10 feet of snow every day.
Yes. And I don't like to talk negative about Michigan because it's made me who I am. But there was really 3 months of sun and that was it. But here in Florida, every day is sunshine. Yesterday, because of the weather, I had to turn my interior lights on, which is not normal because there's always so much natural lighting from the sun. So it almost feels like Groundhog Day every day because the sun just keeps coming back.
Well, perfect. But the best kind of Groundhog Day, where your day every day is just amazing. Well, perfect. So
Myself a lot.
so obviously you have a pretty high price point in your market, but for a good reason, because you are living the lifestyle that so many people want. I presume there's no state income tax in Florida, but what about does that mean that your property taxes are much higher? What did you love about Michigan, and then what made you move to Florida?
Not really. I would say they are higher than what I'm used to in Michigan, but not ridiculous. The one thing you have to be careful of buying a home here, since we do have hurricanes, the homeowner's insurance can be a little out of control. So your home inspection is going to be so important because you're going to have to share that with the insurance company to prove that the home is insurable. But once you can do that, the rates are still a little high, but manageable. So that is something that you'll want to keep in mind when looking for a home here.
And obviously, the property taxes go for, schools and amenities and roads and that kind of thing. What are your schools like? What kind of amenities do you have in your area?
Okay, so I would say if you're looking for good schools, a lot of people talk about the Boca Raton schools. Very good people. It's a family area, lots of families here. But there are other areas around Florida that maybe aren't as family oriented, as family focused. So really, when I try to figure out good areas for people, I really need to sit down with them and figure out what's going to be important for the schools. I know a lot of people right now are doing homeschooling since COVID. So if that's the case, it really doesn't make any difference. But as far as things to do, there's so many things to do all over Southeast Florida. So once we figure out the schools, the rest is really easy to figure out.
Okay, and presumably that means that you'll have a lot of people who don't necessarily have children. I always just ask because it can be a big deciding factor if you have kids. But I know that your area is kind of like the place that anyone who can do remote working wants to move to.
And that's what it feels like it's coming here. A lot of young singles or older singles like myself, or people without children or grown children. I mean, we've had a lot of businesses coming here because of the weather and because people can move anywhere now. So we do have a growing business community, which is really exciting and definitely good for future growth. And then as far as if you're asking me what else there is to do here, the shopping is awesome. There's quite a few outlet malls around here. There's Boca Town Center, which is a great mall. If you like to build your dream, you go there and you will do that. But there's tons of restaurants with all different kinds of food. Just in Boca, there's Meisner Park. There's bars, restaurants, shops. They have an amphitheater. Just lots of things to do for families and then professionals. Also lots of parks. And honestly, the people that I've been meeting here, they're coming here for the Florida lifestyle. So, I am about an hour from Miami, but every time I go to Miami, I find a new area, a new place. There's people from all over the world here. So if you truly want to meet new people and get to know how different people live, this is the place to go. You will not come here and see the same mundane thing every day. You will learn worldly views. You will meet people who've come here as refugees. You will meet people who've come here as young children with their families to start a new life. You will meet people that have come here for the American dream. And then you'll meet people like me from the Midwest that just wanted to live on the beach.
I mean, it really is so true because I don't speak Spanish. And so when I go anywhere within the Miami kind of area or your area, I love it because I can get a taste of Central America or South America.
Yes.
And I don't have to speak Spanish.
Absolutely. It's the people who have a dream, people who realize this is not all I was put here to be. Mm-hmm. So it's really fun and exciting to meet big dreamers like you can here.
Yeah. And you have to dream about hitting that $700,000 price point to be able to get into your market.
I have a lot of people who've moved down from New York, New Jersey, and they're used to paying a lot of money for a home. So that has really driven our prices up as well. So
yeah. I think you have done a really good job selling me, on a house in your market. So if someone wants to contact you, what is the best way to contact you?
So I would say to reach me on my business line, which is 561-944-6713.
Okay, perfect. And then do you have a website that someone could go to?
Yep, it's RebeccaUson.com.
Well, before we finish, anything else that you want to say? I mean, obviously you've moved from Michigan. So if someone is moving from California to Florida, you're an expert at interstate moves. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not easy making a move. Especially from California to Florida, that's a long distance and it's expensive and very stressful. Okay, there's a lot of emotions attached to where you've been born and raised. So my advice is, if you're thinking Florida might be an option for you, come here and stay in an Airbnb for a week, maybe 30 days. See what it feels like to actually live here every day and do you every day. Maybe come here and work online, see what the neighbors are doing, see what the nightlife is, see how it feels. That's what I did. I first started in Fort Lauderdale, but every time I came to Boca Raton, I just could feel that was me. So that's my advice, and I would love to help people with that. That's so much fun to either figure out yes or no if it's going to work for someone. So let me know if I can help with that. I would love to give you advice and take you all over my favorite places.
Wonderful. Well, maybe I'll find 700,000 to 1 million and come have a look. Well, thank you.
1 million is better.
Thank you so much for everything that you shared with us. I know you'll have inspired a lot of people and maybe given them, goals to get down to such a beautiful place.
Awesome. That sounds wonderful.